Hey, Perfect Spirit. I'm Sam Shelley, and they call me the Miracle Man. So let's create a miracle in your life right here, right now. No time for delay. Time's a ticking. So if your mind's filled with with this stress, the worry, the anxiety, the stories that you're not deserving, worthy, that's all the head trash. We need to let that go and really tap into our true self, the perfect spirit consciousness, whatever you wish to call that. I was just sitting before meditation like I normally do and see what arises to talk about today. And this arises is the best way I can explain it is like Eckhart Tolle when he's taking Q&A from his audience, he'll just have these 3x5 cards and I'll read the question and be like, oh, that's a good question. I'd like to know the answer too. So he just wants to see what arises. So I too want to see what arises today for me to talk about. So when I was sitting with that, I was getting spiritual combat. Like spiritual combat? I never talk about battling, fighting. That's like a state of separation that creates us to want to battle, to fight. But then I was thinking, well, spiritual combat really is what we do to ourselves when we have that dialogue saying we're not good enough, we're not deserving, and we start that criticism, that judgment. We start beating ourselves up. And what does that serve? It really doesn't serve any purpose. Yet many people do this judgment, this war with themselves. And when you really have this really strong battle with yourself, you're going to get sick. This is what happened to me. When I was dealing with a bipolar and full of criticism and judgment, and I was creating that fuel for autoimmune diseases. So we're in spiritual combat with ourselves. We're providing that fuel for the body to start attacking itself, to start being at war with itself, to be in combat. And we really don't want to do that. We want to learn to be at spiritual peace with ourselves, to have this deep, deep peace, this unwavering peace. That, oh, there goes the judgment, there goes the criticism. Let me come back to who I truly am, the one that's at peace, comfortable, at ease in this moment. And it's simply not in the story up in here. So if you have a need to be at war with yourself, stop. If you have a need to fight disease, stop that. Combat, battle. You don't want any of those words when you're facing a difficult situation. You don't want to dig in and fight. That's really not what you want to do, is dive within and see what the next step is. Not from up in here. Up in here, asking what the next step is going to be, is going to lead you off into the weeds someplace. But here is the place, this place in our heart, our spirit, is the place of knowing. And that wisdom can come instantly like that. And this has to think about it, logic it out, sort through it, and try to come up with an answer. And we really have to see, that we have the answer within us. We don't need to fight. We don't need to have a combat. We don't need to be a spiritual warrior. There's none of that. You're going to have a war against yourself. Ultimately, you are having a war with yourself because everyone is the same perfect spirit, that one consciousness, that one light. We are that. So if you're calling yourself a spiritual warrior, who are you fighting against? You're fighting the illusion of separation, that it's them, me versus them. It's an illusion. Ultimately, we are this one perfect spirit, and the mind lives in separation. But at times, you do have to have some discernment as well, because everyone doesn't have your best interest in mind. There's some people that are so wrapped up here, they don't know who they are. So that's when you get into crime, violence. So we have to take those steps as well. What is best for us to keep us safe in our truth, in our well-being. And by listening to this voice, because it will tell you when you're in danger. And this mind will be the people pleaser. Oh, I need to go help this person. What are they up to? What are they doing? But you also have to sit with that yourself. Is this the right thing for me to do? And if you're in a tough situation, then you need to listen to yourself. That's the skill of discernment. What is this mental voice, and what is the heart voice, if you will? The heart knows, this mind just guesses. And I saw this recently. It really gets me thinking. You know, when you say you're thinking, you point to here generally. But when you say, I know, most people put their hands on their heart. Very interesting observation. If people say, I want to think about it, they're up in here. But if they're like, I want to sit with it, they're going to be in their heart. I want to know the answer. The knowing comes from the heart, the connection to all that is. So let go of the battle, let go of the warfare, just let go of all that stuff. Surrender this, throw it out. That's not serving you. Just learn to be at peace with you, and that is enough. So just sit here, take a moment to find your power. Where are your feet? Where are your hands? What do you see? Getting you back to this moment is where all your power is. Anytime you're up in here, conflict, battle, you're in the mental story. And that's a disempowering state. And you don't want to be there. That's not a good place to reside. It's just going to lead to lots of stress, anxiety, issues, problems. So let that go. And be the spiritual, peaceful warrior. Like there's a movie, Peaceful Warrior, but I'm not a big fan of the title Warrior. So we just have to be at peace in this situation. That's really the test. When life comes at you, can you be at peace right here, right now? Or does the mind want to battle, to fight? If the mind wants to battle, to fight, then you have to say, am I really in danger here? If it is, then you have to take evasive action, if you will. But if you see it's just a conflict of opinions, beliefs, you're not in immediate danger, then you're fine. But I just want to have that point of distinction. Sometimes you do need to battle, to fight, to separate yourself from that danger. And sometimes you just have to see, sometimes we have to embrace the challenge to move forward. That we can watch all these videos, read all these books, but if we don't take action, it's meaningless. So it's just be you. It's okay to just be you. The universe gave you permission to be you. And you came here on earth to be you. And this is having you wearing a mask that's not serving you. So we need to let that go and realize it's going to be okay. I can relax. Everything's in perfect divine order in ways that I can't explain, but I just simply know things are perfect just as they are, despite the mind's opinions. But the situation is perfect for you to learn to grow. Oh, and one thing that's coming to me, this story that I forgot about that's coming to me, it's really important, is, I was in this space that all is well, but I didn't have that really skill of discernment to really see that I have my best interest at mind. So I was on this road where I used to live, and I was like stopped in the road, and a car in front of me stopped, and the person got out and was starting to walk toward me, but he was wearing a mask, and someone else on his passenger side jumped out and walked toward me. So I sat there for a moment, but they were getting closer and closer, and I sat there for a moment. It's like, isn't this curious? And that was my reaction. Isn't this curious? But I didn't move at that time. I was in the car. I could just go on around them. I could have done something. But they left. They ran back to the car when another car came up behind me. Then they left. They took off. But that's one of the places where I was too much in my heart, not even in my heart. Just like, oh, that's curious. What's going on? But I didn't see the danger, and I had to move out of that situation. But just see, where do you need to move and where do you need to stay put? And really see, what is the story? Or are you in danger and then taking action? All right, that's my talk for today. Take good care of yourself. Bye for now.